on Facebook, Mark Patterson Show. Now, Facebook as well, I want to stay on Facebook because the CEO of the company, Mark Zuckerberg, is on the island. He's in Dublin. He's here to discuss the threat of fake news, social media regulation, transparency in political advertising, and the safety of young people and vulnerable adults. Kevin Curran is Professor of Cybersecurity at the Ulster University. Ken, good to see you. It struck me thinking about this. Just because Zuckerberg and his buddies had one great idea which has transformed the world, they've not necessarily got an ounce of expertise in any of those other subsequent concerns that their great idea has created, Kim.
Exactly. None of us foreseen the rise of fake news. None of us foreseen really that the amount of abuse that would be there, disinformation, and the impact it would have on government elections. Like really, this was never a topic we talked about maybe four years ago. Now, Facebook's been around for 15 years. 2.3 billion people. There's 400 billion points of information uploaded every day. It's really global. There are websites and social media sites which sometimes are big in maybe Brazil or in China themselves, at Baidu, and these other ones are WeChat. But Facebook is actually global. It really is global, used by so many people. And what he's done here, they are under pressure for regulation by governments around the world, especially once the influence that was seen in elections, politicians raised their heads again. And of course, society itself is crying out for something to be done about all the hateful comments that can be there, the content, the live streaming of things like the shooting in New Zealand a few weeks ago. So again, Facebook are trying to get ahead of the game before they're regulated too much and probably change the rules, or really just set the agenda.
But I saw Zuckerberg in the hearings in America when he was called to answer for his company. And he looked like a rabbit stuck in the headlights, Kevin. I'm just thinking, if he were an evil tyrant, this has the potential to be Orwellian. That, basically the world's knowledge is at Zuckerberg's fingertips. What about after him, if he hands it over to, belligerent types, warmongering? I don't know. Do you know what I mean? The power is huge.
It is, again, what I will say is a lot of the information, may be encrypted in the future, so he won't have as much, they won't be able to target people as much. Now, they still will, there's still what we call metadata. They're able to see who we communicate with. Because again, also Facebook own WhatsApp, and they own Instagram as well, and these are huge social networks as well, and messaging apps again. So they have a lot of information on us. But really, the days of being able to do what they want, they have to be simply more transparent, and that's one of the things he's called for, is really to address harmful content, to address their influence on political elections. And they're saying that they want to have an independent body who will work alongside them and guide them, because they say, again, he said a lot of correct things here. Now, again, it could be clever PR, but to be honest, like you said, I don't believe that they are evil. He's made enough money to, he doesn't need any more money, so he's trying to just really cultivate the baby he's created.
But is he losing that argument, Kevin, where the social media platforms have always said, look, we're just platforms, I can't help it if Kevin does something irresponsible, we're not publishers? They are publishers in every sense of the word.
They are, but of course there's limits in that too, because otherwise they can't really control the sheer amount of information on there, just like YouTube. So, but what we do want is transparency, and again, he's called for that. We want to see how much of the hateful content do they and other social media sites take down. What have they taken away? How many people are working in the back room to do this? How many moderators have they?
2.5 billion accounts, Kevin. You'll need a million moderators.
Of course, but you can have technology which helps, and people can flag a certain amount. But again, so that's it. That we're not, no one's trying to take them down tomorrow, because there actually are benefits to using these systems. Again, we can be connected. Again, a lot of people have run businesses on Facebook. Make a lot of people, their primary platform on the web is through Facebook, and they make
sit and look at it.
Exactly. So there are, not every single thing is negative, but there are things that we have to address. And again, we want to see that the politicians held to account. We want to see transparency there. When political parties create ads, we want to see who created them. Again, we want to see, about the privacy of their data. We want to see if any social media giants, lose their data. We want to see them, that they're accountable, that they've got best practice to protect their data. And again, also he's saying there that last year in the UK, or sorry, in Europe, they introduced the GDPR, this kind of overriding framework for European that you have to disclose what information you have on people have asked. You've got to protect it. You can't opt people in sneakily. You have to have an information commissioning officer in your company. Everything that you would want that kind of protects the public. He's saying, let's build on that model exactly for the world. So that
Why doesn't they just do it though? Because I mean, they're changing it and modernising it. I mean, they've got fancy new buttons on the platform this week. If you wanted to take the crazies out of the social media world, Kevin, he should be proactive instead of governments begging him and, oh, Mr. Zuckerberg, lovely to have you here. Why doesn't he just get on with it? He knows it's a problem.
Well, again, there'll always be content posted there which is harmful. There'll always be your live video actions which no one wants to see. There will also be political agents trying to work to influence elections again. So they've just got to again use technology, increase moderators, and come up with maybe new clever schemes. But there will always be a battle between between them and the influencers.
Small print. It's understood Mr. Zuckerberg will also visit the site of Facebook's new European headquarters.
Yeah.
Still under construction. The former AIB Bank, the Irony Centre in Ballsbridge. European headquarters. Amazing.
I mean, again, a lot of giants are in Dublin. Dublin's done well over the years, the Facebooks, the Googles, again, because, again, we're the first port of contact when you leave the United States. We speak English. We're based in Europe again. And, of course, Apple, of course. So we have the bizarre situation where the Irish government is refusing the billions which Apple were told to give us again. But again,
tax.
Apple's been a great employer.
Please don't make us accept your tax. What sort of crazy thing is that? Right, Kevin, thank you for that. Professor Kevin Curran's thoughts there. Mr. Zuckerberg is in the area. Over the weekend, he wrote an opinion which he admitted that the social network had been in denial, pardon me, about combating harmful stuff and safeguarding privacy for too long. He's acknowledged he's behind the curve.